If you say anything about my hair, you're anti-black. I was reading my journal. Also, hello, it's been a minute. About like 3 years, but hello. I was reading my journal and I just made the biggest discovery. So I wanted to share it. So basically, I've spent my entire life trying to fight who I actually am. Which is crazy, because I don't know. And so part of me was like, where did this come from? Part of it is like, oh yeah, I just taken whatever school was teaching me, whatever people around me were teaching me about what I need to do to be successful in life, what I need to do to make money, whatever I need to do to be happy, and the things I need to have to be happy. I took that in, I made my checklist, and I was like, okay, let's go. Because the thing about me is I'm really good at whatever I do. I can be good at whatever I do because I put my all in it, and I overthink everything. So sometimes that actually like ends up working out. However, after overthinking and getting the checklist done and everything, I was like, I'm not happy. So at the big age of 25, I decided to, I'm not gonna say throw it all away, I'm gonna say reroute. And yeah, it's been a journey, but like it's so crazy because I've been beating myself up about rerouting for so long, but today is one of the first days where I've actually just been like, I'm 25, I'm figuring it out, and at least I did this at 25 versus 52. So yes, especially the ages. And yeah, I just feel so, I feel so happy, and it feels so natural finally doing things that like actually make sense to me, and because this is like things that I've thought through and decided to do versus going on autopilot for 25 years. But yeah, it's super duper crazy. Do I want to read my journal out loud? Ooh. Huh. Okay, I'll read one. I'll read one because this is also something I've noticed. This is more recent. It says, I figured out my biggest flaw and why my prayers don't always come true. It's because I always try to control things instead of letting God control. And I think that really, it's kind of seems like it's unrelated, but if you really think about it, it just like applies to my life. I also was trying to control the direction of my life, trying to make that go in the direction of what everyone said would make me happy and successful. So I very much did those different things. And then I didn't do things that naturally felt good to me and things that actually would have made me happy longer term. And yeah, and it's really crazy. And maybe, and like sometimes I'm like thinking like maybe God was guiding me along a certain path, and I was very much being told, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. And I was like, okay, God, pause, I'm gonna go this way. And he was just like, she gonna work her way back around the path, but I'll let her go. What's that? Let me see if I have another journal entry. A lot of them are just about me like dreaming of doing different things with my life, but being like, yeah, but I can't because I'm too busy with XYZ that I'm supposed to be doing. And then I think a theme that comes up a lot in my journal as well is just the loss of innocence that comes with realizing that your dreams might not be possible. And I don't necessarily think that they're impossible, but I feel like sometimes you'll have a dream or an idea of the way you want to live, and then society will tell you that you can't do that, or that it's illogical, and then it kind of kills your innocence. And so I think I really experienced that, especially this year. But my hair looks crazy. Y'all, I promise, I just took my twist out. That's all. And I have a bobby pin in, but yeah, okay. It's really crazy because the thing is, I feel like if I just would have went with my gut on everything in the first place, I would have been happier in my life. Because I feel like sometimes God works through us, and sometimes when we're doing things right and things don't feel like you feel empty or something like that, or you don't feel happy, I feel like that might be God being like, okay, well, that's because you're not on the right path. You're not following me, because I always feel full when God's involved. So if I'm feeling empty, then he might not be involved. It's just a common theme that I was seeing it was really just me not feeling peace because I wasn't doing things for myself. This can apply to anything like in my life, to be honest, but I also think this really applies to like me being myself as well. I never really knew who I was, but I always felt like I was kind of different or weird. And I would always try to conform and try to, fit in with the popular kids. And in college, I would try to, be more desirable and everything. And I kind of feel like I lost myself in the process. But at the same time, the real me was always like in there as well. So like recently, I've actually started relearning who I am, and I think the best way to really relearn who you are is to go back to your childhood self. You know who I went back to? I went back to her. I went back to like my childhood self, and I really I saw some like old videos of me, and then I was like, one, I was really smart as a kid. I was counting all my fingers and everything when I was really little. And I was also really random. Like, whenever my dad would be like, look at the camera, I'd always make a weird face, like, and I was like, oh, okay, so I've always been like this. I've never been normal. I've always been weird. I've always been quirky. I would do random stuff. And for years, I realized I was trying to change myself and to not be that person. And now at 25, I've kind of just been revisiting that and kind of embracing it more too, because it just feels more natural to me. So even like certain things that I'm interested in or was interested in as a kid that I never really like fully immersed myself into, now I do, I used to have a rock collection. I don't have a rock collection now, but I also used to like bugs. I used to really like to play with bugs when I was little. Like me and my brother would dig in the dirt, and I think we'd make little castles for the bugs or whatever, the roly-polies. And I don't do that now because I am an adult, but I do sometimes play with the cute little like jumping spiders and stuff if they like jump on my hands and everything, because I did research and they're actually really, really intelligent. I say all this to say, what if who God actually made us to be, without the influences of society and other people around us, is actually who we need to be to feel full? What if the things that we were interested in doing are actually the things that we need to do as an adult to feel whole, to feel full, I feel like God has put a lot of different desires in my heart as a kid that I kind of just moved away from because I wanted to do what was acceptable by society. But like coming back to them and doing certain things that used to make me so happy make me feel so full. For example, today, I spent the whole day like creating things. I ruled myself out from being creative because even though I used to draw and sketch as a kid, I was very much fully immersed in math, computer, and data science in college. So I didn't have time to sketch and that wasn't really a priority for me. But I spent the whole day. I built a website for my friend. I was painting a picture for someone special, and I just felt so full, so free-flowing. I usually have a hard time focusing, and since these were things that just naturally align with who I am, it wasn't hard to focus. I just was like, whenever I was like, okay, I don't want to do this task, I switched to the other task. Then when I'm like, I don't want to do that task anymore, I switched to the other task. I free-flowed all day and got both done. And I feel like that's how I'm supposed to live. And so I might sound delusional still saying all this, but if delusion makes me feel full and feel whole, I'm okay with that.